about is how a borderline can look at extreme jealousy and controlling behavior as a sign the partner loves them. So maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
So the way I show love to people is I'm jealous and controlling. So it's kind of like my love language. When someone acts that way towards me, then, I feel like they love me enough where they don't want, like, they're worried about somebody else taking me from them. And so, like, if they're blowing my phone up or, like, asking me, like, for example, my ex would ask me multiple times a day if I'm talking to other guys, and it was like he was really, like, hyper focused on that, and so it felt like I was, like, the center of his universe, and he cared enough about me, and I've never had anybody else do that before.
I think there's a lot of women who fall prey to that too, where, and people can relate to what you just said, where, when he's super jealous and controlling, at least I know he cares, and it's not until later do some women kind of see through it a little bit. And for some guys, though, it takes longer for that side to really come out. So in the relationships you're talking about, how fast did that side come out?
Right away. Really, really soon into the relationship. And, it was just different to me. Like, I've never had somebody do that. And the people in the past, like, they're the ones that left me. And so I just kind of thought, this guy's not going to leave if he's so obsessed with me.
Now, is it still that way for you now? Like, if someone were to do that, would that still feel like love to you, or?
Well, now that I've experienced being with a narcissist, I know that that's a red flag now. So now I know that's not really love, that's obsession. Now I know the difference, but before I didn't know. All I knew is that I used to be the one obsessed with people and they didn't reciprocate. So I've learned from that, and I've learned that the way that I've shown love isn't the healthiest. So.
Well, I think especially with borderlines, they crave that intensity. So they crave the intensity of an extremely close relationship where it's enmeshment. And I think regardless of the cluster B disorder, whether it's narcissism, BPD, histrionic, or antisocial, none of them really like boundaries, right? They don't like boundaries. They want to control. They want that intensity, and they want that feeling of being super close. And boundaries prevent that a lot of times. And so a lot of the cluster B folks, they do not like boundaries one bit.
Yeah, there was also the love bombing. In the beginning, he would buy me flowers, just do all these big romantic gestures that I've also never had anybody do. And so it seemed like he was putting in all this effort because he truly cared about me, but it was kind of like all an act. So,
what do you think the difference is between how a narcissist will love bomb and a borderline will love bomb?
So a borderline will want to spend a lot of time together. Like, will always want to be with that person. And, a narcissist might not necessarily want to do that. Like, my ex didn't want to spend every second in the beginning. It was more so just like the gifts and, acts of service and stuff like that, where mine was I just wanted to be with them 24/7.
So you wanted the time. They wanted to show through gifts.
Yeah, basically.
I've also heard a lot of narcissistic people will, as a form of an apology, they'll buy you something big. So say they messed up or they got caught cheating, they'll buy you a ring or they'll buy you something big so that you'll look the other way. Have you ever had that happen?
So one instance it was the 3rd of July and we were supposed to have plans, and he ended up having to work. And to make up for it, he sent me edible arrangements to kind of make up. So I was like, okay, that doesn't really make up for it. I want to be with you. So there was a different love language going on there. But at the same time, I was just like, he really cares about me, or else he wouldn't have done that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily see through it as oh no, he's just doing that as a form of manipulation.
Yeah.
But that's how you would see it now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think most borderlines have a similar love language?
I would think so, yeah, because we have that favorite person that, that we become one, basically. And so, like, we don't want to be apart. When we're apart, we feel like we're dying. Like, we need, like, it's like we're going through withdrawals, basically.
That's a good one. That's a
Yes.
good title would be, what does it feel like when a borderline separated from their partner?
Mm-hmm.
And you'd be like, dead.
Mm-hmm.
Death.
And we have no, like, sense of self. Like, a lot of us don't have, like, hobbies or, like, something that makes us happy. It's another person that makes us happy.
That's actually a good cluster B clue, is what are their hobbies that don't give them a source of supply? Because if they don't have hobbies that don't give them a source of supply, that's probably a red flag. Because a lot of people that are, whether it's borderline or narcissism, they'll do things, like they'll go to the gym, but that also contributes to supply.
Exactly.
Right? So you're a somatic narcissist, you like the way your body looks, and you would like the admiration the opposite sex or whatever sex you're into would give you because of how you look at the gym. But things that don't provide some sort of supply, maybe not as popular amongst our cluster B friends. And like I always say, even anyone who does these reels or TikToks or YouTube, there's narcissistic traits. Like, I can't deny it is. Like, there's a part of it that you like attention. You like the supply that all of the audience will give. And I think most content creators, if they were honest with themselves, they would probably say that. Like, it's just a matter, like, what annoys me is when people don't admit it. They're like, oh, no, I would never do that for that. It's all about the people. It's all about the other person. It's like, is it really all about the other person? It's like, I think it's just both. Like, I like helping, and I like the fact that, like, it makes me feel good to do these kinds of videos, and, like, I guess it's like a form of supply, really, is what it is. So